Welcome to Intro to XR with StudioX. As the hub for extended reality at the University of Rochester, StudioX fosters a community of cross-disciplinary collaboration, exploration, and peer-to-peer learning that lowers barriers to entry, inspires experimentation, and drives innovative research in teaching and immersive technologies. Everyone is a learner in StudioX. Immersive technologies have a steep learning curve and require diverse skills, perspectives, and experiences.
All University of Rochester students, faculty, and staff are welcome at StudioX. It doesn't matter if you've never heard of XR before or if you're an XR expert and have developed your own applications. We are a community that celebrates curiosity and collaborative interdisciplinary learning. Hello, my name's Ayiana Crabtree and I'm part of the class of 2022 majoring in creative writing. At StudioX, I'm a Karp Library Fellow who specializes in XR research, and today I'll be giving you an introduction into extended reality.
Before we can dive in, we should go over the basics. The big question here is, what is XR? XR, also known as extended reality, is the umbrella term used to describe all real and virtual combined environments and human-machine interactions generated by computer technology. This includes AR, VR, and MR. Augmented reality is a live view, whether direct or indirect, of a real-world environment whose elements are augmented by a computer-generated sensory output. AR uses your existing reality and adds to it by using a device such as a phone. See the examples on the screen. Applications can use AR in several different ways. Pokemon Go, the most popular augmented reality game, uses AR to project Pokemon into your real-world environment. The map application allows for easier navigation, as the arrows pointing you in the right direction are in the exact locations you need to go. Furniture applications can allow you to see what items may look like in your home before you decide to order them online. Virtual reality is an immersive experience, also known as a computer simulated reality. It uses a VR headset, or HMD, head-mounted display, to generate sounds and images that can either replicate the real world or create an imaginary one. VR is most commonly thought of as something for gaming, with Beat Saber being one of the most popular applications for VR devices. However, it is important to know that VR is expanding to something that people use for work and social gatherings too. One work application can allow you to have a virtual replica of your desktop in the simulated reality. There is also a plethora of VR social platforms that allow you to meet with others from all over the world. MR, mixed reality, sometimes called hybrid reality, is the merging of real and virtual worlds to allow physical and digital objects to interact in real time. The most popular example of mixed reality is the Microsoft HoloLens, pictured on the screen. It allows you to interact with virtual objects that are projected in real time. This technology allows people to hold work meetings with others while not being restricted to a virtual desktop, allowing for a more visual freedom than VR. It is also being used in industries for various types of training. Now that you know the basics of the technology, here's a little background on the history. The history of XR starts back in the 1800s when scientist Sir Charles Wheatstone outlined a new concept called stereopsis, in which the brain combines one image from each eye into a single 3D image. This led to the first stereoscopes, a device that took a pair of images and turned them into a 3D image with the illusion of depth. In the early 1900s, American science fiction writer Stanley G. Weinbaum published the book Pygmalion Spectacles, in which the main character explores a fictional world using a pair of goggles, making this the first prediction of VR as we know it today. The first AR headset was created in 1968 by Ivan Sutherland called the Sword of Damocles that displayed computer-generated graphics that enhanced the user's perception of the world. From the 1980s to the 2000s, VPL Research Incorporated became the first company to sell VR goggles and gloves. Their founder, Jaron Lanier, coined the term virtual reality in 1987. In 2010, Palmer Luckey created the first prototype for the Oculus Rift headset at the age of 18. By 2014, Facebook, or now Meta, had acquired the Oculus VR company. 2014 then became a busy year for XR, with Sony and Samsung both announcing the creation of their own VR headsets, and Google releasing its low-cost cardboard viewer for smartphone users. In addition to this, Google released the Google Glass, an AR device. In 2016, Microsoft released the HoloLens headsets, which made AR more interactive. AR was brought into the mainstream media by the release of Pokemon Go. In 2017, a lot of retailers began using AR technologies to help customers imagine products in their home by using apps like IKEA Place. But how do you create an XR project? Let's break this process down. This is a very broad overview of the technical process. The XR creation process usually begins with content creation. There are a few ways to create 3D objects. 3D modeling, a technique using computer graphics for producing a 3D representation of any object. You can use platforms such as Tinkercad, SketchUp, Maya, or Blender. There are countless other platforms available. With these platforms, you can manipulate the geometry of primitive shapes to create custom models. Then, you can add materials and textures to give your model a unique look. There are also lots of free resources for 3D models available, such as Sketchfab, but you don't always have to start from scratch. Photogrammetry is the process of capturing, measuring, and processing overlapping photos with triangulation to construct 3D models from 2D data points. These photos can be taken with a range of devices, from your smartphone to a professional digital camera to drones, satellites, and beyond. The photos are then processed using software such as Agisoft Metashape to reconstruct an object in 3D. 3D scanning is the process of analyzing a real-world object or environment to collect data on its shape and appearance to reconstruct the object in 3D. 3D scanners use lasers to capture this data and generate a 3D representation of this object. A 360 camera, also known as an omnidirectional camera, uses multiple lenses to capture a 360-degree field of view. There are a range of 360 cameras available, from consumer-grade fisheye cameras to professional cameras with many different types of lenses. Now you might be wondering, what do you do once you have those models? Once you have your assets, such as 3D models, you can move these into a world-building platform such as Unity or Unreal, where you'll add things like physics, interaction, and animations to build unique XR experiences. The final step after this is deployment. These products can then be deployed to mobile applications, VR headsets, and other technologies. Again, this is just a high overview of the creation process. Although many XR experiences entail time, investment, and expertise, there are lots of ways to get started with smaller projects. StudioX offers a variety of introductory workshops for platforms such as Blender and Unity for those interested in learning more about these fascinating applications. Now that you have a general background on XR technologies, we can get into the fun stuff. First up, we have several WebXR experiences for you to try. WebXR is exactly what it sounds like. XR experiences that you can do in your browser. Mozilla Hubs is a social VR space that allows you to interact with others in a virtual space. British Museum's History Through Time is an interactive map of the history of the world. Here's a quick demo. Next, we have a few AR experiences. Angry Birds AR takes the classic game and expands upon it by using your device's camera to place the levels into your real-life surroundings. Lightspace is an art application that allows you to make digital art in your surroundings. The Pen and Slavery project was a project created by the University of Pennsylvania to bring history to you. Big Bang AR teaches you about the beginnings of our universe by immersing you in them directly using AR. We encourage you to download these to your personal device to try. They are all free applications. Finally, we have VR. This is the one you wouldn't be able to try at home unless you already have a VR headset, but you are always welcome to come into StudioX to try some of these experiences out. Here's a demo of some of our favorites.
I'm trying to cut down on gluten, but that looks...
Well, I hope that this provided you with a brief but sufficient introduction to the world of XR technologies. There is so much more that the world of XR has to offer, so if you're ever interested in learning more, feel free to stop by StudioX. We're located on the first floor of Carlson Library. However, if you don't have time to stop by, you can check out our social media pages or join our Discord and our emailing list. Thanks for watching.